As a matter of fact, the expected and already rapidly growing inversion of geomagnetic field will not cause end of the world, and no elimination of biological forms of existence will happen. The majority of people, absolutely imperceptibly for themselves, will instantly find themselves in a new, for those of us who already have knowledge of Iissiidiology, type of the space-time structured by more advanced configurations of people without activity of UV conglomerates of the 1st to 10th and partially the 11th levels of Aorllgmmirgmia system, and other, much more developed than current protoforms. But it's only a scanty quantity from uncountable possible options of mass refocusing simultaneously in various directions of development. This process will involve all inhabitants of the planet, including vegetable, sound forms, and animal, live forms, which configurations will also undergo certain high-quality changes. For example, those animals that will refocus will completely lose, as well as people, their aggression and bloodthirstiness and become more reasonable and altruistic. Those of them that will lack the activity of high-quality former creators, which powerfully balance the low-frequency dynamics for some time until some additional interquality synthesis is carried out in their self-consciousness, will become even more aggressive, bloodthirsty, ignorant, and egocentric. And don't forget that the main inertial transforming process will occur due to powerful inertial stimulation of the structures of protoform self-consciousness of all collective intelligences by former creators from the galactic center. For nouveau configurations, they are agglomerative coordinators of the general process of synthesis of Luwu forms with participation of aspects of the quality or essentiality, which subjectively is defined as radiation. In other protoforms, they stimulate specific, peculiar only to them, synthetic processes. These short-term but very powerful cosmic ray influences will awaken in the most qualitative nouveau configurations the increased creative activity of planetary former creators of Aorllgmmirgmia and Iissiidiology centers, representing aspects of qualities or lawful wisdom that is known as magnetic field, and all will of intelligence, electric field. And their activization in turn will increase in consciousness the quality of realization creativity of false forms representing aspects of the quality or unity that is known as pressure. I'd like to remind you that the most high-frequency energy information carrier of aspects of all mentioned pure cosmic qualities are the conceptions created on the basis of Iissiidiology knowledge. So, the quicker and more deeply you understand it, the better and more qualitatively you will be able to react to everything happening to you and around you. So, all of you who have already shown strong interest in this universal knowledge, of course, do not need to be afraid of anything, because without such powerful manifestations, we who are focusing on three-dimensional nouveau former types simply wouldn't have those wonderful opportunities for accelerated spiritual evolution which are given to collective intelligences that manifest themselves through the highest quality resopasons of Aorllgmmirgmia reality, possibly only once in hundreds of thousands of years. In strictly defined, higher quality scenarios of our human development, these opportunities are initially programmed, and now uncountable number of different nouveau configurations of biological analogues of our former types have come close to decisive and fateful moments of their existence, either maximum realization of these possibilities, and then instant inversion ray refocusing in the more harmonious sections of their slow grand configurations, or their partial or complete ignoring, and then the continuation of consecutive refocusing to various dramatic scenarios for the further interqualitative synthesis in more stressful conditions of existence. A lot of people who have heard this information from me with undisguised anxiety, asking each other what to do now and how to behave, remind me of those little crying children in a clinic who are to be vaccinated to prevent some dangerous infection. They don't want to be sick, but they are very afraid of injections. And when vaccinations have been made, and they became convinced that the process was really quick and painless, their faces started beaming with joyful smiles, as if saying to everyone, "I was not afraid at all." So, my best advice to you is never to be afraid of anything or anyone, whatever happens to you and around you. Always remember that you are really immortal, and not in general or somehow separately, your spirit, soul, and other obscure categories. And it's you who are immortal in a personalized way, with all the individuality and uniqueness, memory and inclinations. Nothing lethal can happen to you personally, as well as to all other biological living beings of the earth, because at the same moment you become aware of yourself in the configuration of following the Kraullarrd form, structuring one of the slow grand former systems of the worlds in some of innumerable possible for you directions of development. Therefore, you should never yield to the panic of people who don't know this information, or in their ignorance or ambition completely deny the Iissiidiology conceptions. In any subjective tragic scenarios, always remember that you have steady desire. Even in the most dramatic circumstances, it's always possible to successfully refocus into better scenarios. You don't have to go anywhere and to save yourselves from something, to build inferior bunkers and shelters, or to calculate feverishly the area on the map which will be least of all affected by radiation, volcanic eruptions, floods, wildfires. If you really deeply understood the knowledge of Iissiidiology, you can easily realize that all this is nonsense and absurd, organized in your consciousness by the low-quality former creators of your brain that are able to use in their activity only projections of Swolvo copies. With Iissiidiology, you can very quickly and efficiently synthesize so far unrealized low-frequency sublevels of your consciousness, and thus to forever get rid of all these wretched former copies and already unnecessary for implementation of low-frequency synthesis stressful circumstances. I tried as much as possible to describe in detail the main features of the human null forms. Study them carefully and try to realize calmly and purposefully your life creativity only in this direction, constantly improving the quality of your relationship with the world and with yourselves. That's all. You don't need anything else. If everybody desperately cries, runs somewhere recklessly, saving from something, don't be afraid, don't panic, continue doing your favorite things, turn on IFR songs, and with their blissful energy information, muffle those insane screams of despair and horror from streets and television. Fear has big eyes that prevent you from concentrating on high-quality swarm forms. Be absolutely sure that now, at last, it has come, your hour that separates your present personality from your future personality just by few thousand rotation shifts. Don't worry and do not regret at the moment any of your favorite and precious things and the vanished wealth, or your homes, factories and banks, and of anyone who during all this time allotted to people for the radical self-determination couldn't make a decision, couldn't find even a grain of mind and a grain of faith in the heart to form in their consciousness a more profound essence of understanding of their eternal existence. Be honest as much as possible with yourself at these decisive minutes, focusing on the most important things you would like to achieve and to realize. The rest will be accomplished automatically without your conscious participation. In one single moment, not only you, but the whole world around you, people, animals, plants, climate, will transform qualitatively in frequency. There won't be a shadow of doubt on your face, because you already initially exist in those appropriate former types, and now you will just personally realize yourselves in this usual quality.